Good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. We're excited to see you all here today at the National Cleanup Workshop. We have a record attendance, and we're very excited about it. By the way, I'm Seth Kirshenberg. I'm the Executive Director of Energy Communities Alliance. And this meeting is really put on as a joint partnership between Energy Communities Alliance, EFCOG, and the U.S. Department of Energy. And we work hard to make sure that we put on a program that's helpful to all of you. I think it's been really interesting over the last couple of years as appropriations have been significant for the EM program, how we focus not just on the cleanup program, but we also focus on the future of the Department of Energy facilities. And more recently, the Secretary of Energy announced a Cleanup to Clean Energy program where we're going to look at reusing some of our sites for energy projects. But I also look at the current mission and what's going on. And what's really interesting is that we still want to focus on some of the key issues that the department works on. One of them, of course, is continuing to prioritize the use of the high-level waste interpretation, which GAO predicts that we could save over $200 billion if we use that in our program. And those are some of the key issues that ECA continues to want to focus on. We also look at the programs and we say, we need to deal with making sure that we can work on not only the near-term issues, but the long-term issues. And so ECA last year put out a report, which is highlighted in the ECA bulletin, which we gave you all, which highlights some of the key issues that we want to focus on as we look at the issues. The other thing that the Department of Energy, EFCOG, and ECA have been working on together is workforce issues. Yesterday was a real exciting program because we brought together a lot of the early career folks that are looking at working in this field that many of us work in. And what they really focused on was really looking at and learning what does a career look like in this particular area. And I can't thank the EFCOG leadership, the DOE leadership, and our members also who spoke at that yesterday, because it really is about the future and making sure that we have this workforce together. And so we really, really appreciate that as the communities who work around the other sites. This year was also kind of an exciting year. I've spent my whole career making sure that communities are engaged with the Department of Energy on the various issues that we all work on. And I got invited, luckily, thank you to the EM folks, I got invited to this great program with the Canadian delegation and the US delegation and the UK delegation. And it was really all about improving communication, not only to the external people, but also how do you work with local communities? How do you work with tribes and indigenous communities? And I was blown away that there was actually a multi-day meeting focused on how to improve those particular issues and learning across borders on those. And I was just really, really heartened that is a focus, and I appreciate the leadership focusing on making sure that we're engaged with communities, because in the end, when I look at my communities, they want to see success of every single one of your companies and of the Department of Energy in its mission. And that's really what is a main focus of theirs. The other thing I wanted to highlight is last year, under Mayor Gerry's leadership, ECA also created a global partnership of municipalities that host nuclear facilities. And we work with the European communities, the Canadian communities, and the UK communities, and we've set up a partnership. And what's really interesting is we focus on the cleanup issues, we focus on the waste disposal issues, but we also focus on advanced reactors. We focus on what can be the future and what is really exciting and some of the things that are going on at our sites in the US and abroad. So we've got a lot of different opportunities there. So my job is really to introduce the next two speakers. So I'm going to get out of your way. I'm the ringmaster for the next 2 days as well. So you're going to see a lot of me saying, "Hey, everybody, come on up." But I'm also, I saw some of the EFCOG leadership, in the hallway, and one of the things I was reminded of is safety. We're a safety culture, right? As we talk about it. So I just want to make sure that everybody knows and sees where the exits are in case we need them. Hopefully we don't, but they're in the back and on the side, so we always know where those are. So with that, I'm going to get out of the way. I'm going to hand it over to our next two speakers. Brent Gerry is the mayor of West Richland, Washington. He's also the ECA chair. He's the head of our board. And he's been a great leader for the Energy Communities Alliance. And Sandra Fairchild, who's the vice president of EFCOG. She's also the director of at UCOR, of Mission Assurance and Controls, and at UCOR. And she's someone who works and has worked very closely with both the local community in Oak Ridge and also our communities nationwide. So with that, I'm going to get out of the way and hand it to Mayor Gerry. Thank you, Mayor Gerry.
Thank you. Thank you, Seth. And as you mentioned, I am Brent Gerry, Mayor and CEO of the City of West Richland and the other Washington State. And before I get started with my opening remarks, I want to talk a little bit about some of the box office hits that we had earlier this year. Oppenheimer. How many people have seen the Oppenheimer movie? Which is probably one of the reasons that we're here today, right? Just saying. Now then on the other side of it, we have Barbie. Oppenheimer, Barbie. I kind of confused on that one, but I can't see maybe Oppenheimer 2, but I could see Barbie 2 with the storyline Barbie dumps Ken and runs off with G.I. Joe. Just saying, right? So yeah, fun stuff. Great movie, Oppenheimer, 3 hours, certainly a bladder check, no pause in the theater, but it was a great show, well done. Much appreciated the people who put that one together. So as Seth has mentioned, it's been a real busy year for both DOE and ECA. ECA, like DOE and EM, have expanded their missions. ECA has created, as Seth mentioned, the International Partnership of Municipalities around nuclear facilities in the US, Europe, and the UK, as well as Canada. It's called the Global Partnership of Municipalities with Nuclear Facilities. Our partnership was created with EM, and we held several meetings with both US as well as Europe. Our goal is to ensure the mission of ECA, the engagement of local communities and decision-making by companies, governments that are developed nuclear energy, nuclear storage facilities, as well as nuclear cleanup. EM has been instrumental in deploying the fostering of these partnerships, and we certainly thank them for that as well. It's also great to hear that the Tri-Cities mantra, clean up to clean energy, far and wide, including from Secretary Groham. Most energy communities want to participate in this program, and we hope that DOE will look for ways to expand this program. ECA also expanded its focus on nuclear energy development. Now we have new members interested in hosting advanced reactors. My own community, along with ECA Vice Chair, Idaho Falls Mayor Rebecca Casper, who leads the new nuclear initiative for ECA, are doing what we can to continue to push the development of nuclear industry in our communities as well as our country. The Tri-Cities is looking forward to hosting the 3rd annual Nuclear Development Forum, May 7th, get your pens out, May 7th through 10th, 2024. We'll probably say that a few times throughout the next few days, because we'd like to have all of you come and join us there. We also created a great new partnership with EM and EFCOG this past year on workforce issues at our sites. We created and worked with EFCOG to request that each EM prime contractor put together their hiring needs for the next 5 years for our communities, and ECA published them. 3 weeks ago in Los Alamos, the EM and EFCOG, as well as N3B, held their first of many EM workforce meetings. Very interesting, and we're excited to continue this because, as we all know, the workforce is our biggest challenges. And I'd like to thank Ike for everything that he's been doing with his team to make sure that we have an opportunity to fill the needs in our workforces as we move forward. As Seth mentioned, we highlighted an introduction of an article, Disposal Drives Cleanup and Re-Energizes Momentum for Disposal Solutions for Radioactive Waste. I just wanted to highlight that our community, we would like to see that these recommendations undertaken by DOE as well as Hanford, including the grouting of low activity tank waste for permanent waste disposal out of state, as well as the implementation of high-level waste interpretation. ECA is hoping to get started working with DOE on consent-based siting and hosting meetings in high-level waste and spent nuclear fuel interim storage. We have worked for several years in my community and definitely want to see this progress, a DOE initiative, continue. So I took a few minutes to highlight some of the issues ECA is working on, and we'll be discussing these over the next few days. I want to thank Ike White and Sandra Fairchild for their continued partnership in putting together this meeting, and look forward to the next couple of days. A successful EM means success for cleanup in our communities, something I'm sure we can all support. And with that, I'll turn the podium over to Sandra. Thank you.
Thank you, Seth and Mayor Gerry. Good morning. I'm Sandra Fairchild, Chief of Staff of United Cleanup Oak Ridge, UCOR, and Vice Chair of the Energy Facility Contracting Group, EFCOG. EFCOG has been a co-sponsor of the workshop with EM and ECA since its inception, and we're proud to see it grow into one of the premier EM-themed events in the country. Together, EM, EFCOG, and ECA represent all those who have a stake in the future of cleanup of DOE's mission, the largest environmental remediation program in the world. Those who carry out the mission, the companies, the men and women who perform the mission, and the communities that are the reason for the mission. At UCOR, we know the future begins with cleanup. At this week's workshop, much of the discussion focuses on the future, how EM work benefits the future of other programs like NNSA and the Office of Science, how DOE as a whole is looking to the future of safe and effective waste disposal, how EM is working to ensure a bright future for communities, for opportunities to employ clean energy, and how collectively we are working to attract, build, and maintain the future workforce. Of course, EM's future is based on a foundation of a safety performance workforce. Every member of EFCOG is ensuring the safety of the workforce. We understand safety performance doesn't challenge our ability to make progress. It's how we sustain progress. EFCOG member companies are excited and proud to help EM and DOE realize a successful future. EFCOG's mission is to maximize DOE and NNS future by sharing information and best practices to support operational excellence. Our strategies, priorities cover ensuring safe, secure, and effective operations, maintaining critical equipment, supplies, and infrastructure, completing projects within cost and schedule, evolving recruiting, retention approaches to realize diversity, inclusion, and equity imperatives, and achieving sustainability, clean energy, and reuse goals. If your company isn't a member of EFCOG, you should consider joining. EFCOG's future is bright. We have the largest number of companies ever. I think that demonstrates the value that we bring to DOE and to our member companies. With that, thank you for attending this year's conference, and which we have set record numbers of attendance.